jail more, we die sooner, we don't have any rights when it comes to marriage, we lose all our money. Like, we have to work harder.
We go to jail? Yeah, that's because men commit more crime. And guess what can contribute to violent behavior? Traditional masculinity. Ooh, I know. Yeah, that sucks so bad when you are actually complaining about the problem that you're creating. Oof. Fuck, I hate that one. They die sooner? Guess what? There are literal statistics that show that men are less likely to go to the doctor because they perceive that as being weak, and they think that in order to be a good man, they need to just tough it out, you know? Oh, it'll go away. Walk it off, bruh.
Catholics can't be white supremacists.
Why is that?
But because it's a sin. You know, we all believe that we're equal before God. All people have an equality in terms of that we were created by God as well.
Once again, proof that God is not just, because any God that sees me as equal to Nick Fuentes cannot therefore be just. Christianity debunked. Tip fedora. Cope. Now, for those of you who don't know, this topless man is named Sneako. He's pretty much the 7-Eleven version of Andrew Tate, which is saying something considering the fact that Andrew Tate is like the Walmart version of an alpha male. So we are really hitting low on the tier list here, okay? And now this guy, Sneako, has done a lot of content that, you know, I don't think much of us would agree with, whether it's shitting on the LGBT community, saying there's only two genders, which is just like an ignorant thing to say. And now it seems as though he has had a little chit-chat with Nick Fuentes, the man, the myth, the legend, the suspected neo-Nazi, and the well-known white nationalist, Nick Fuentes. Let's see how this convo goes. Hang on to your butts.
So why did you get banned on YouTube? What did you do?
Well, I got banned for hate speech. I don't know what I said. I mean, I don't want to repeat anything that'll get you banned right now, but, you know, they ban everything. It's like you can't say 9/11 was fake on YouTube. You can't say
right out of the gate, dude. So I like this right off the fucking bat. We have Nick Fuentes. Yeah, you know, Nick, goddamn YouTube. Oh, it's so hard for their damn TS. You can't even peddle 9/11 conspiracy theories. Bruh, are you okay? That's pretty reasonable.
To me on stream, I said 11/9 might have been fraudulent, and they terminated my stream live.
Yeah, I know, and it never...
Because that's bullshit. That's why.
That's why I got banned. And
that's not true, actually. He got banned because I'm pretty sure he was encouraging violence when January 6th occurred.
2020 from YouTube.
And I don't understand how that doesn't wake people up. The fact that, like, misinformation, like, why can they decide what information is good and bad? Why?
Oh my God. Who's they? What do you mean? I'm not going to be able to get through this all, am I? Why do they get to choose what is and isn't misinformation? First of all, I don't know who they is. If you're talking about, like, YouTube, for example, they get to decide that because it is their platform. That's actually quite a reasonable thing, in fact. Similarly, people who own businesses get to decide what is and is not against their business's rules. That's something that can happen, that exists. But if it's YouTube specifically, they are going to go based on whatever the academic consensus is on a certain issue.
Do we let these corporations decide what hate speech is?
Oh, and that's what I tell people, because it's like, I'm right-wing, I have a lot of controversial opinions, but I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody benefits from having companies and billionaires decide like what's true and what isn't true, because that's what it is. They've appointed themselves like, well, we say what's fake and we say what's real, and they get it wrong all the time. Like almost everything they say is wrong, but they're going to ban people for misinformation.
Wait, can we have an example of what everything they've said is wrong? What? Huh? I bet he's talking about, like, you weren't allowed to peddle conspiracy theories, and then all of a sudden, one of the conspiracy theories was tangentially sort of correct, and it just proves that YouTube is bullshit. Even if that were actually the case, that is irrelevant, because the facts of the matter are, you decide, or you determine what is and is not true, based on evidence and coming to a rational and reasonable conclusion. You do not just throw a bunch of shit at the wall and hope to God that one of them sticks, so then, after you've told 10,000 lies, 2 of your lies turned out to not be lies after a year, you don't get to say, YouTube is deciding, they don't know what's misinformation. It may not be misinformation now, but it may have been misinformation then. It's not that hard of a concept to grasp.
information all the time. It's just a thinly veiled excuse for them to control all the information in the world. That's literally what it is.
So I take it that
What? All the information in the world? What are you talking about? Do you think that YouTube controls all the information in the world? I don't even know what that means.
you didn't get jabbed, obviously.
No, yeah, hell no, I didn't get jabbed. Did you?
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, no, I'm not sure. I don't want to get in trouble for misinformation again, but I think you can take a guess.
Yeah.
But Destiny's on here.
You're allowed to say that you don't want to get the vaccine or didn't take the vaccine. You realize that, right? But of course, these chuckle fucks didn't get the vaccine. Well, they're only increasing their likelihood of dying. Not saying that's a good thing or anything.
Destiny's on Cozy TV. Like we just had a debate, and finally I won. He won the first round, but that guy really trusts the government.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, me and Destiny, he's obviously very liberal. Like, dude, you can be liberal or something, but he believes everything the government says. I was telling him about all this corruption. I was telling him, like, good example of this is Nikki Haley. She was Trump's ambassador to the UN.
The thing is that what you're doing here right off the bat, I can already tell, is the genetic fallacy, where instead of actually addressing arguments, you try and discredit the overall source. So if somebody says the vaccine is safe and effective, and then you say, why do you trust the government? They're corrupt. That is one, not an adequate response to the original argument. And second of all, even if it were correct, even if you were correct in saying the government can't be trusted, so what? There are other governments that have also said the vaccine is safe and effective. Do you just think that anything considered a government can't be trusted, or are you talking about the US government? Like, we have international consensus on this nearly, that the vaccine is in fact safe and effective. So even if he were correct in saying the US government is completely corrupted and can't be trusted, okay, great. Well, there's international consensus that has shown the vaccine is safe and effective.
What do you think is actually going on? So I've been talking a lot about the spiritual warfare, and I'm trying to wake people up to how they're trying to feminize men and masculinize women, and it's an intentional thing from the top. That's why everybody
Holy shit, dude, there's so many. God, spaghetti monster in the sky, please. Give me a hedge of protection for this insanity that I have delved myself into. Holy shit. Spiritual warfare? One, what the fuck does that mean? There's no way to test for spiritual anything. So again, we're back to, well, my asshole tingles, so it must be God. Second of all, they're trying to feminize the men. What do you even mean by that? What a lot of people are trying to do is bring recognition to the fact that there are certain expectations placed on men that are harmful to men and general society. This is what people are generally trying to bring attention to. Now, sure, you have a couple like super dumb woke skulled lefty LARPers on Twitter who run around shrieking how men are all bad and oh, the patriarchy and oh, toxic masculinity, this, that, and the other thing. But like, they are not the majority. The vast majority of individuals, especially the vast majority of medical and academic consensus, is simply that there are certain expectations placed on men that are harmful to the men. If you say you're a man, so you shouldn't cry, that is harmful. That raises the risk of that man getting cancer. Therefore, we should do away with that expectation placed on masculinity.
The headset and the headphones, and you get censored. Like, they get to label you alt-right and a Trump supporter way easier than me. Like, I'm here, like, you know, getting sturdy on stream. I'm mixed as fuck, so I'm kind of privileged in a sense where it's harder to silence me. They can't call me a racist, alt-right. It's actually a privilege, and it sucks to see like guys like Alex Jones, or like I was reacting to this other guy, just all these right-wing people, just immediately you get to silence and shut them up and just call them racist.
Yeah.
First of all, what does you being mixed have to do with you being racist or not? See, this is what I don't get. You say they're trying to feminize the men. You shit all over the liberals and whatnot. But you are actually playing on liberal grounds right now. This idea that because you're mixed, you can't be racist is so stupid. What does your race have to do with your political beliefs? Do you think that race has something to do with political beliefs? Do you think that all mixed people must think the same? Do you think it's impossible for you to be racist and be mixed race? I hate these identity politics because it is just as cringy as the fucking bedroom feminists from 2016 when they would try to say, you're a man, you don't understand this, or I'm a woman, therefore you must listen to me. It's all cringe. Why are you never able to recognize this bullshit?
That's true. Like, me and my friend used to talk about stop speeding. He would go on the stream, or Aiden Ross for that matter. They get to go on stream and they get to say, Aiden Ross would bring on all these rappers and they would say the most quote unquote homophobic things and get away with it because they're black.
Yeah.
And if I had said those things, they banned me for being a homophobe, racist right winger or whatever.
No, the difference is that one might have like homophobic slurs in it, but it's kind of seen as an art form. Meanwhile, you're up here using slurs, so there's a little bit of a distinction there. Not saying it's cool to be homophobic and rap or anything, no, I don't support that, but to act like these are comparable is just dishonest. They're not getting away with this because they're black. Eminem is white, and he got away with saying the F slur for fucking decades, okay? The reason for that is that rap is seen as an art form, so it's not judged as critically as some chuckle fuck in a suit trying to look cool, getting up on camera, using slurs, and calling for the extermination of certain groups. I think there's a little bit of a difference there, Nick.
Yeah, so there's obviously double standards, and the thing is, you're totally right about the spiritual battle. It's good versus evil. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. And it's a big thing about they're trying to steal the souls of people with pornography, with gambling.
Yes.
Look at Twitch.
Yes.
Steal the souls of people. Okay, first of all, Nick, you are the best example that a god does not exist. So that's a little bit of a self-owned there. Second of all, who's trying to steal anybody's soul with porn? Like, is it if you just like take a little peek, or is it if you look at it regularly? Like, what if you're scrolling on like a YouTube downloader site, and then like, one of those nasty ads pop up that's like, bang a hot anime chick near you, and it shows like a cartoon of a guy fucking a woman, then is it like half of my soul has then been deducted? Is it like a currency here? Like every time I see nudity or something that could be considered pornographic, like little bits of my soul are taken? How does this work exactly? Could you elaborate, please?
Like, I'm on Cozy, and our platform on Cozy, it's people praying the rosary, it's gaming, it's political stuff, people don't give a shit. You go on Twitch, and it's softcore porn and gambling. And this is just like stealing the virility and the souls of young people, getting them addicted.
Yeah, oh man, I would so much rather tune in to see a bunch of losers hold up their fucking crucifix and their beads and go, "Thou Father art in heaven, blessed be thy name, move a bead to the left." I'm sorry, man. Softcore porn and gambling sounds equally as stupid to me as seeing a bunch of losers do the rosary on stream. Like, what?
Addicted to these like slot machine, online gambling sites, getting them addicted to OnlyFans, getting them addicted to hot tub, jacuzzi streams, shit like that. It's so evil.
I just had an e-date with one of the hot tub streamers, and I made it pretty far. I made it to the semifinals, but guess who she picked at the end? She picked the guy who bought her hot tub water. Obviously, you see the move. She did that so that every guy in the chat's like, maybe I have a chance if I'm fat as fuck. Maybe she'll hug me one day. And it's just sad because they really promote that, and guys have a false idea about how women act. And I've been reacting to a lot of this channel. You should check out It's Complicated channel on YouTube if you haven't seen it, because it just breaks down how delusional all these American women are. All these American women worship celebrities. They worship Cardi B, Kim Kardashian, Meg Thee Stallion, and they're trained to turn into thoughts who don't have any unique personality. They don't think they have to.
Okay, so who's training all the women to be thoughts? Is this like a regimented thing? Is it like, you've been drafted to the thought camp? All right, ladies, today we're going to talk about how to sensually remove your bra. All right, ladies, let's get down. I want you to drop down right now and give me 50 squats naked. Drop, right? Like, what do you mean, dude? Who's training whom? And is there an alternative corps that maybe, I could join? The Thought Patrol. Like, is that an option as well? I don't know. I'm just really confused here. They seem to be living in another reality. And all kidding aside, this idea that women are just all slutty or all obsessed with Cardi B is such a stupid stereotype to hold. And it's funny because he's talking about how guys don't understand how women think. And then he goes on to say this. Then he goes on to say, women just are obsessed with celebrities and they're all just trained to be thoughts. Like, you are betraying your lack of knowledge when it comes to women right now, my friend.
To improve. They think they're perfect. And people call me misogynist because I bring it up, but I'm really trying to talk about the brainwashing. All these women worship celebrities and they don't really realize why. They're on Instagram and TikTok all day and it's fucking up their heads and they make no sense. And it's an intentional thing that they're doing to make men weaker. Because if women make no sense, then who are we going to have kids with? Who are we going to be in relationships with? Most of the guys who end up fighting.
What about men? Like, a lot of men are really fucking disgusting too. Do you think any woman wants to have sex with Nick Fuentes? I mean, the dude's literally known as Small Dick Fuentes. I don't think so, pal. Why are you so busy blaming all this shit on women? You should maybe start looking inward first. I know that Nick says he's a Christian, and I would like to cite the Bible. Before you look at the speck in your brother's eye, you should first examine the log in your own eye. Maybe for updated, Nick, you should examine the dick in your own eye, okay? Like, this is literally a biblical principle that before you judge others, you need to look inward. So rather than jumping up here and being like, women, they're all just twerking. All they know how to do is twerk. Every woman is on OnlyFans. And I would know because I'm subbed to all of them. Every blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe you should actually look inward, figure out if maybe there's a problem with you first, and then maybe you can move on to baselessly attacking women and, you know, being sexist while sitting in your messy ass bedroom that probably reeks of gym socks with your fucking shirt off.
And killing each other, it's over a girl.
Yeah. You're right. They're messing with both the men and the women, and the men follow the women because the women, you know, they're the ones that get to select for who's going to reproduce and who gets the sex. And you're right, the women are getting totally gassed up. And by the way, all the women are fat now. Like, all the women are fat, and they're all rude, and they're all like, they swear, and they're just very
They think being
aggressive
toxic is fun. They think their personality trait is just being a bitch.
Yeah,
Can
they're
you
like,
Dude, people call me misogynistic, man, but it's just all women are such fucking fat bitches nowadays. Bruh. Yeah. These are not compatible, okay? In the wise voice of the GPS, not computing. What the fuck are you saying right now? You can't say, I'm not sexist, and then say, all women are fat bitches. Pick one, pal. Pick one.
Euphoria, and they all want to be like a fucking girl boss or whatever. And newsflash, no guy wants to date a fucking girl boss. Okay, no guy
can't.
I mean, my wife is kind of a girl boss. Like, my wife works a full-time job. She's incredibly smart. She's really good at coding. She does shit that I would not even begin to understand how she's using certain softwares when it comes to coding and creating reports and whatnot. She does really complex things. So I would consider my wife kind of a girl boss. And, well, I mean, I wanted to marry her. So, I don't know. Maybe you have to be a boy boss in order to be attracted to a girl boss. Maybe that's why you guys don't understand. And alpha chads like me who are already married, living the trad life, 2 kids while you fucks live the mad life. Maybe that's the difference here, you know, is you're not actually a boss yourself, so you're intimidated by women who seem to be in control of their lives. You got to join us, okay? Join us, chads.
Cares about how much money a girl makes. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, we're the ones that are supposed to make the money.
Yeah.
So that's why I like Andrew Tate. I just put out a big...
Well, like, what the fuck? That's such a dumb thing to say. No, that's not. You are not the ones who need to make the money. And maybe you would prefer to be the breadwinner in the relationship, and that's something you can work out in your own relationship, but... I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Nick will never have a relationship, but a hypothetical relationship, you would want to work that out. The problem, though, is where you take your personal preferences and then try to apply it to all of society under this thin veil of just return to tradition. Like, shut the fuck up, go and fix your own problems, stop projecting your insecurities on the rest of us, and literally just stop trying to put your own preferences on the rest of society. Maybe it would work better for your non-existent relationship if you were making the money, but, I mean, for some relationships, it works better if the wife is the one making the money, and the dad is at home providing for the family, just in ways that are not financial provision.
I like Andrew Tate. I just put out a big thing on Telegram about Andrew Tate, and, like, anytime you get a guy like that who's going to say what's true about women, they always blow up. Anytime somebody's out there who's charismatic and for whatever reason doesn't get censored and says the truth about men and women, they blow up. And that's because people are so starved. All we get is the censored...
For truth. See? This is right here the other problem. Destiny just believes everything the government says. And then meanwhile, Andrew Tate is the one telling the truth. This is... We are witnessing Dunning-Kruger in real time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People want the truth, but they just get the controlled feminist nonsense. And they censor
But we
everything
recognize
else.
it's real, and that there's a takeover happening. And one thing I recommend you do is start telling your chat to start clipping yourself and spamming it on TikTok. That's how I blew up a lot. Just getting clips. I'm on everybody's TikTok For You page. My face is everywhere. And I see. I support Tate too. Tristan Tate just hit me up a couple days ago. Real recognizes real. So people like this, we need to start linking up with each other. And like, I'm glad that you have this platform like here, because when they inevitably ban me, I'm going to start streaming on this platform. Chat, you got to go over to Cozy TV when I do get banned. But it's going to become stronger than the censorship. And there's really a movement happening, because it's like the amount of men who are getting weaker and weaker. It's sad. Like, these guys are addicted to OnlyFans. These guys are addicted to prawn. And we still push this idea that feminism, like that women are oppressed, and they're not at all in the West. When they talk about the wage gap, they talk about catcalling, and that's it. But the homicide rate is completely all towards, like, men are deleting themselves at I think 9 out of 10 times compared to women.
Wow. You mean to tell me that men are killing themselves at way higher rates than women? Gee, I'm sure that has absolutely nothing to do with rigid gendered expectations that are placed on men that say if you are failing to make a lot of money, or if you are not able to attract women, or if you are being emotional, that you're not a real man. You're less of a man that way. Gee. Huh. Okay, yeah. So appeal to the fucking suicide rate while you and your dipshit rhetoric contribute to the suicide rate. Very, very cute. I love it when these numbskulls do that. Okay? Oh, there's no toxic masculinity. What? They want to feminize the men. But why are men killing themselves? Forehead. Shut the fuck up, loser. Second of all, when you say, oh, well, you know, women aren't oppressed, the wage gap, blah, 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 blah. Okay, first and foremost, the wage gap refers to how women tend to make, on average, less money per year than men. And a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that women make different choices than men. But that's the part that everybody forgets. There is then a follow-up question, which is, why do women make these choices? That's the next question. Instead, you want to say, oh, they're just choosing it, LOL. Well, a bunch of men are choosing to kill themselves. Okay? But we wouldn't just end it at, well, it's their choice. No. We look at the reason behind why these choices are being made. And a lot of the reasons why now, the way in which women are discriminated against is not in law, but rather on a social level. This is why we know for a fact that women are less likely to pursue fields like STEM, even though STEM was originally created by women. And that's because it's perceived as a manly field to be in. And, oh, you're just a woman, you know, you shouldn't be there, you shouldn't be there, you should be at home with the kids, or you need to be more quiet. There's another reason why women are less likely to ask for a raise than men, because women are oftentimes taught to be more agreeable, to be more quiet, to just kind of go with the flow. And that can sometimes lead to negative outcomes for women. Literally can contribute to discrimination or oppression towards women. So, again, you bring up the wage gap as if it's some like, oh, who cares about the wage gap? Who cares about catcalling? Like, catcalling is a great example of how women are objectified in their day-to-day life, and you're diminishing that. You're acting like that's not a problem. Like, it is. I'm pretty sure most women don't appreciate being sexually harassed every fucking time they step out the door to pick up their Taco Bell. Okay? That is a social form of discrimination that needs to be addressed.
Jail more, we die sooner, we don't have any rights when it comes to marriage, we lose all our money. Like, we have to work harder and harder. It's becoming harder.
What are you talking about? First of all, if you get married and then you divorce, you keep your shit, okay? The only things that are divided between the husband and the wife are purchases and money made within that relationship. So that's not even true. Not sure where you're coming up with that dumb fuck idea. We go to jail? Yeah, that's because men commit more crime. And guess what can contribute to violent behavior? Traditional masculinity. Ooh, I know. Yeah, that sucks so bad when you are actually complaining about the problem that you're creating. Oof. Fuck, I hate that one. They die sooner. Guess what? There are literal statistics that show that men are less likely to go to the doctor because they perceive that as being weak. And they think that in order to be a good man, they need to just tough it out, you know? Oh, it'll go away. Walk it off, bruh. And then when he talks about the jail thing, that's correct. There is actually a level of systemic sexism within the prison system. They do go to prison for longer times than women who commit similar, if not the same, crime. That is a problem. That is a systemic inequality. So far, though, that is the only real thing that he is able to point to. Everything else is a literal result of the type of masculinity that these people advocate for, or two, solely because of social stigmas.
We die sooner. We don't have any rights when it comes to marriage. We lose all our money. Like,
we don't have any rights when it comes to marriage. Okay, again, just to be crystal clear, that is not true. You realize, like, sometimes guys will complain about needing to pay their ex-wives alimony. You realize that can be reversed, right? You realize there are times where the women are paying their ex-husbands alimony. It's usually based on who makes more money and why that would even be something to be considered. So this is just such a two-dimensional view of these very complex social problems.
to work harder and harder. It's becoming harder to become a man. And when you try to, they immediately try to cancel you. How many times have they tried to cancel you on Twitter? Every single day they make up false allegations and everything. And I predicted this coming. So my whole career on YouTube, I've been on YouTube for so many years. I've always thought about everything like being clipped up. I've always known that they were going to try to emasculate me, to belittle me, to cancel me for something. But they ain't got shit. They ain't got shit on me.
Yeah, you're right. It is real, recognize real, and it's us against the world.
No, it's not, by the way. It's bullshit recognizes bullshit, okay? Pyramid scheme recognizes pyramid scheme. That's what it is.
Now, that's the important thing, because they thrive on lies. Their entire empire is built on lies. They lie to the people. They lie about real people. They lie about real human beings. And you're right, there is a movement.
Says the guy that lies about the Holocaust, lies about racial minorities, lies about gay people, and lies about whether or not it matters if the country is majority white or not. But very cute, Nick. Very cute.
Of people coming together and saying, we know what's up, we know what's good for us, we know that porn is bad, we know that we need to work out, we know that we need God, we know that we need these things, and people are beginning to shut out the mainstream media. People are getting really skeptical of the powers that be. So I agree, yeah, the time is now to link up, support the stuff that we know is good for our souls, good for our bodies, and reject the cancel culture bullshit. And you're right, they canceled you, they canceled me. You know, people try to cancel me all the time. They say, make up things about me, take the shit that I say out of context.
Why in the world would people try to cancel you? Surely it has nothing to do with, I don't know, Holocaust denialism?
Context gets me in trouble in court, gets me in trouble with the law sometimes.
You have to go to court?
Yeah, I can't really talk about it, but I'm in this civil thing right now, and let's just say I say a lot of controversial stuff on my show.
Oh, please get arrested. Oh, shit.
And you know, when you're with the bros, you just say whatever, and you say controversial stuff, and you say stuff that, you know, might come across as insensitive, but
wait, when you're with the bros saying insensitive shit, nobody really cares. You say a lot more than insensitive shit publicly to an audience of thousands of rabid virgins, okay? You are in no place to talk, and why are you equating these things? This is embarrassing.
Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's true, and that's what you're going for. And they use everything against me to just make me look bad and you know, damage my life. But people need to start to rise up, because soon nobody's going to have the right to say anything. If you don't stand up for the people that say the things that they're going to cancel for now, in the future, nobody's going to have a right to say anything at all. We're all just going to, you know, be robots controlled by advertisers and Twitter and YouTube and the ADL. So yeah.
He hates the ADL.
Validated everything I believed about what's going on. I tell my chat all the time that the elites are all like touching kids on an island. They do satanic rituals. Like it was exposed with Epstein. I don't know why more people didn't wake up to that.
Wait, what about Epstein exposed satanic rituals? This idea of some group of suspicious and creepy elites in the shadowy room doing satanic rituals is actually from an anti-Semitic trope. Okay, this isn't me being like a woke liberal here. This is just acknowledging history. Historically, it has been that Jews were accused of doing satanic rituals and usually like drinking the blood of children. Even when you say shit like this, even if he's not intending to be, you know, anti-Semitic or something, I guarantee you, everybody in Nick Fuentes' chat right now are all saying that it was the Jews.
That. Like the monkey shit that's going on, we're going to have another lockdown. They're going to try to quarantine us again. They're going to keep us all inside. They're going to tell us to stay 6 feet away, cover your face, jab up. And it's stupid. They're taking away just the basic things that humans need to be human.
So first and foremost, it's stupid is not an argument. Second of all, it's literally been demonstrated that mask wearing has reduced the spread of COVID. So cope more, I guess. Thirdly, the state literally has the constitutional right to enact mandates. They literally have a constitutional right to enact lockdowns. This is within their constitutional right. So anybody acting like, oh no, the big scary authoritarians, oh, they just don't know what the fuck the Constitution is. And they're dumb and ignorant. That's it.
It's really just good versus evil. And a lot of people call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but it's right in front of your face. How did Epstein not wake people up? How did COVID...
So again, it's right in front of your face, bruh. Same exact thing that I hear from Christians. Look around, dude. It's obvious. So what you're saying right now is you're looking around and coming to a conclusion based on how your gut feels about that thing, and you have not used any rational or justifiable method of reaching that conclusion. That's what you are betraying whenever you say shit like that. Because the fact that I'm able to look around and not see it demonstrates that you obviously are gauging something to come to this conclusion. Odds are, though, if we started talking about it, you would quickly reveal it's not in fact obvious, and you are in fact a deranged conspiracy theorist.
But how did that not wake more people up? It really confuses me.
Well, they turned it into a joke. They turned it into a punchline where they're like, Epstein didn't kill himself. And it's like, he didn't kill himself. He was murdered. And he was murdered by the people that were compromised by the fact that he had him on a plane raping kids.
Wait, wasn't Trump on Epstein's flight list? Wow. Flight logs show Trump flew on the Lolita Express with Eric, Tiffany, and Clinton advisor. Trump was a frequent flyer on board Epstein's private jet in 1993 and 1994. Nick Fuentes, I know for a fact that you would get down on your knees and suck Donald Trump dry while trying to call him daddy while you're simultaneously choking on his cock, okay? So you are in no position to even whine about this kind of shit because you support somebody who is just as culpable, quote unquote, as any other chuckle fuck that might have been on that list. So even when you bring this up, again, you are a hypocrite.
Well, I think it's totally legit. I mean, I've gotten canceled for saying this.
Well,
but,
I don't know what you mean by totally legit. Like, I've been getting deeper into the conspiracy things, and people have been coming up to me about that. And like, it is true. Please be careful, like, about the wording used like that. I don't want them to come on my ass. But obviously, pause. I didn't mean to say that. I don't want them to try to cancel me. But do they control all the money in the world? Are they behind the scenes on most of these issues?
Well, you know, I'm a guy that I talk about that a lot on my show, and that's a big part of why I've been like canceled. And here's the thing, you know,
Are we heading towards the inevitable JQ?
You know, you got to be careful about it because you could definitely go too far and say some things that aren't true. Jews are very organized. That's what you have to understand on some level, is that you have things like the Republican Jewish Congress. You have the World Jewish Congress. You've got Jewish federations all across the country. They're very organized politically. They're organized on college campuses where they have their own Jewish campus life. They're organized in Republican and Democrat Party. They're organized for all kinds of things. And they use these organizations. And the thing is, Jews earn a lot of money. They're very educated. They use their connectedness to each other and their organizations to exert influence. And so, you know, they're not the only ones that influence society. There's lots of institutions and groups that influence society, but they're one of them. And so you look at the Biden administration, and his cabinet is full of Jewish people. You look at big tech and legacy.
So Jews control a disproportionate amount of power, and they all think the same way, and they're like a monolith. So wait, hold on. Jews control a disproportionate amount of power. According to Nick Fuentes here, Jews control a disproportionate amount of power. They also all think the same, and are all somehow conspiring to enact certain progressive ideals. I feel like that's a conspiracy, and I feel like there's a term for that. Damn, what's it called? I forget. Oh, right, it's called the fucking Jewish question, which, mind you, Adolf Hitler's Holocaust was unironically called the solution to the Jewish question back in the day, okay? So whenever somebody references Jews holding power and Jews all being some monolith trying to enact certain agendas, they are signaling to unironic, anti-Semitic, neo-Nazi level conspiracy theories. So here we have Nick Fuentes saying, oh, why am I always getting banned? I'm just a good little lovey cat boy. And now all of a sudden he's signal boosting and dog whistling hardcore to the fucking JQ. That's why, Nick, because you peddle forward neo-Nazi talking points, okay? Why don't you shut the fuck up with your neo-Nazi ass and go back to jerking your neo-dick to some fucking trans porn, okay?
Legacy media and the people that run them, full of Jewish people. Hollywood, full of Jewish people.
They control
and you
the media,
can't talk
they control
about
the money. Yeah, but in GTA.
No, you can talk about it. It's when you talk about it incorrectly. Okay, let's go through this, okay? Hey guys, are there a disproportionate amount of Jews in Hollywood? Yes. Uh-huh. That's not the JQ. The JQ is the idea that there is a disproportionate amount of Jews that hold power that are all working together as some big cohort to try and peddle forward an agenda, usually to push degeneracy or wipe out the white man, anything kind of like that, okay? These are literally the exact same talking points that fucking Thomas Edison used to be anti-Semitic. He thought that Jews were trying to bring their swarthy filth into society or something like that, and that is why Thomas Edison was working overtime to sue anybody that dared use his invention at the time, which was the video camera. And that is why then Jews migrated essentially over to Hollywood, where they started making films. There is a reason why Jews are in disproportionate positions of power in Hollywood, and the reason is because of discrimination of the past. So again, you are complaining about the problem while contributing to the problem. It is so fucking ironic that these dipshits never realize what they're doing.
Jews control the media and the money. And Grand Theft Auto, my favorite video game.
Villagers, they're the villagers in Minecraft.
Yeah, there we go. They're the villains, guys. They're the villains in quote-unquote Minecraft. Yep. There we go. I love it. I love the conspiracy to neo-Nazi pipeline. Every time it leads right here.
So what did you mean about Haitian IQ?
Oh, well, then you got average IQ. That's another one of these so-called red pills, is that, different groups have different IQs. So on average, Chinese people have the highest IQ, white people have a high IQ, Hispanics, blacks.
You're saying Haitians have the lowest, Hispanics and blacks have the lowest IQs?
Yeah, blacks are the lowest.
So, are there any environmental factors that could contribute to certain IQ? So, for example, if you are raised in an environment where there's lead paint on the walls, like apparently these two dipshits were, then that will contribute to a negative impact on your IQ. So this idea that, black people must just be genetically inferior because on average they have a lower IQ is, again, total bullshit. There is a reason for that, and it's because black people have historically been oppressed. They were put in fucking slums for the longest time. The issue of IQ here is, again, really complex, and you're just overlooking all of that. Simply saying different groups have different IQ levels isn't really that big of a deal. Like, yeah, that's kind of true. The problem comes when you try and attribute certain reasons to that. And we know for a fact that Nick Fuentes thinks that black people have low IQ because he thinks they are inferior. That is not the truth. The truth is, black people might on average have lower IQs, but there are social reasons for that, and that is why we even have studies that show that black kids who are adopted into white families that usually live in better socioeconomic circumstances and in the suburbs have higher IQs. There is nothing genetic or biological about black people and IQ, or really any other group in IQ. So you are lying right now to an audience of hundreds of thousands of people, and this is why earlier I said it's incredibly irresponsible for this Sneako cunt to actually platform another cunt, Nick Fuentes. Like, this is some mad fucking... This is like a fuck-up here, dude.
On average, Hispanics.
Wow.
On average.
Wow.
That's true, though.
I mean, if you have, send me a study about that. Send me a study about that. I want to see that.
I will. And here's the thing. I'm Mexican, okay? So I'm not saying that as like some nut job. I mean, I have a Mexican last name. And I'm also partially black. And all it is to say is
3%?
that... No, I'm 25% Mexican. Yeah, I'm like 3% black. But I say that to help, that's to help prevent me from being canceled. It doesn't really work. But, it's not to say that I think, Hispanics and blacks are dumb, but just in terms of averages, their IQs are distributed.
I'm not saying they're dumb. I just simply think that they're all just more stupid. When black or mixed race children are raised in white rather than black homes, their pre-adolescent test scores rise dramatically. These adoptees' scores seem to fall in adolescence, but this could easily be because their social and cultural environment comes to resemble that of other black teenagers. There's no direct genetic evidence for or against the theory that the black-white gap is innate, because we have not yet identified the genes that affect skills like reading, math, and abstract reasoning. Studies of mixed-race children and black children adopted by white parents suggest, however, that racial differences in test performance are largely, if not entirely, environmental in origin.
Different way. And that's why Africa's so poor. That's why Europe is so wealthy.
Do you think it's a racial thing, like it's an inherent thing with your race, or is it just based on the circumstances?
It's genetic. It's almost entirely genetic.
No, it's not. There's zero evidence of this. And again, there are literal environmental factors and cultural reasons as to why Europe and Africa are different. You can read about this throughout history. Do you think it's just like, well, there's lots of black people there, so LOL? Of course not. You would have to be a brain-dead cuck to even consider that as an answer. But then again, we're dealing with brain-dead cucks, so...
Studies in Minnesota, there's a very famous one where they took a black child and he was adopted by a white couple, and a white child adopted by a black couple, and they did the study with all these twins, and it turned out, or the adopted kids, and it turned out that the IQs didn't really change much being in a so-called white environment or black.
This is literally bullshit. We just read the study that completely contradicted this, but okay. Now it's Nick who's coping.
In Africa, they have summer all year long. They're in the equator, so they didn't have to save for the winter, and that's something that leads to a different kind of cognitive development. All this is to say is that
wait, he's in a way acknowledging an environmental factor is at play. Well, what do you know? So you're telling me that Africa is disproportionately poor, and what do you know? There was a 7.3 point decrease in IQ score associated with malnutrition, and a 3.2 point decrease when children's nutritional habits were poor. So you're telling me that Africa is disproportionately poor, and you're also telling me that malnutrition can contribute to lower IQ? I wonder if people were not malnourished if their IQ would go up.
the races have differences. Like there's black people aren't just a different color, they're different. And white people aren't just a different color, they're different. It's not to say people are better or worse.
He's lying right now, by the way. He's straight up lying right now. There are very, very little differences between the races. In fact, there's more genetic variance between black people and black people in Africa than there would be between a black person and a white person living across the country. So that is factually incorrect.
So do you think maybe the IQ test is, wasn't the IQ test made by white people? Is that a fair way to judge intelligence? Or is it, maybe black people are overall happier?
I don't know if they're happier, but the thing is about the intelligence tests, they are designed in ways that are culturally neutral. So they'll put together an IQ test where it's just, there's no language, it's just symbols.
That's debatable.
And they find that it's pretty consistent. And here's the thing. You look at development in the world and it tracks, like Asia is an extremely developed civilization. Europe is a very developed civilization. Sub-Saharan Africa
Is developed better because at the same time you're saying the Chinese are the smartest, but they're also the biggest bots. Like if you look at them, they all do exactly the same thing. They're all bots for their government. Is that really smarter?
Yeah, that's the thing. We have to, we talk about IQ.
This actually is another little bit of a blow to what Nick Fuentes was saying, because he was trying to appeal to the differences of the races when he was talking about Europe and Africa. Well, Europe was more wealthy than Africa, sure. However, regression results suggest no statistically distinguishable relationship between IQ scores and wealth.
And the Chinese have a very collectivist culture. And if you look at China, they have a very insular society. They are a very collectivist and insular society. The Europeans, on the other hand, were exploring and sending ships around and inventing things. And the Chinese never sent explorers anywhere because they said we have everything we need at home. So that's when I say, it's not to say people are better or worse, but they're just different. Asian civilization and Asian people are different.
So again, keep in mind, even if his argument was that IQ is in some way or another genetic, that might even be somewhat correct based on what I'm reading here from science.org. However, the problem is when you say that IQ is not only genetic, but it is genetic on the basis of race.
Different from Europeans and European civilization. Now, the problem is when you try and say that, oh, well, we're all the same. We're not all the same.
No, we're not.
In a sense. Now, we're the true proponents of diversity because I want the Africans to be the Africans and the Europeans to be the Europeans. And there's beautiful culture everywhere. And everyone has a right to exercise and express their identity. The problem is when people say, oh, we have no identity. Let's just import everybody and let's turn into a big country with no religion and no race. And
yep, here we go. No race, no religion. Africa for Africans. This is just bullshit. There have been immense benefits in our society from diversity. I mean, I talk about how diversity benefits innovation all the time.
Jontron, that's the YouTube. What was I about to say? Damn. Can't believe that.
Yeah, so I know
it. Do you think you have a mostly white audience? I mean, probably.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, probably mostly, but you'd be surprised. I mean, there's actually, some people accuse me of having a non-white audience. Like, in our circles, there are people that are like, actually hate people, and they're like, oh, Nick's audience is all, because I do actually have a lot of black people that go to my conferences, a lot of Hispanics that go to my conferences, because I love all people. I love black people, okay? I love Hispanics, and I have a lot of black and Hispanic and Asian viewers, but yeah, it's probably mostly white. That's because the country's mostly white.
What do you think is the truth about Trump?
And do you think maybe it has something to do with you constantly advocating to keep the country mostly white?
Trump is a controlled opposition, or is he actually awake?
I think he's awake. I think he has. I think that he is somebody who's been kind of domesticated by DC.
Oh my God, dude! The irony of Nick fucking Fuentes saying this after shitting on the whole Epstein situation. Sneako, are you unironically suggesting that Trump is like awake, guys? He was on Epstein's flight. He was on the fucking logs, dude. Holy shit! They can't even keep their insanity straight.
Very good instincts historically. Then he goes to DC and he changes, and he gets changed because that city is evil, and he gets surrounded by evil people like Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner's evil. Jared Kushner's Jewish, and his building is at 666 Fifth Avenue. That's literally his address. 666 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York. And so you get guys like Jared Kushner and all these other bad influences around him, and they wore him down.
Why would you say that Jared Kushner is a bad influence? Certainly it would have nothing to do with the fact that he's Jewish, right? I mean, that wouldn't... No way.
And they fundamentally changed him. And so I still think he's independent. I still think he's a brilliant guy, but he's just not the same as he was in 2016. That's my feelings on it.
What do you think about him? Guy? I voted for Trump in 2016. I didn't tell anybody about that for the longest time because I was afraid of getting canceled, but I didn't vote in 2020. But
dude, these people are the biggest fucking beta snowflakes around. They act like they're the dominant alpha males. Meanwhile, they are literally crumbling in fear while simultaneously shitting and pissing themselves over a fucking Twitter TOS. oh, I'm scared somebody's going to tweet something mean about me voting for Trump. Ooh, woo. At least when I voted for Trump back in 2016, at least I had the fucking balls to say it. All right, I wasn't scared of getting canceled on Twitter. And now, last election when I voted for Biden, at least I had the balls to say it then. You people are absolute fucking snowflakes.
Yeah, I was in a really liberal area, and I thought Trump was funny. And I do miss him. He's way funnier than Biden. But overall, like, I've seen pictures with him and Epstein, and he seems like he was buddy-buddy with a lot of these people. And apparently he was on the island, too.
Oh.
I've heard that he was on the plane, but never on the island. Well, people say that he was like friends with Epstein because Epstein was friends with everybody, but that he wasn't compromised by Epstein. And
so why couldn't you say that we're literally anybody else hanging out with Epstein? There are a lot of other people who are like Democrats that hung out with Epstein that you guys would be very quick to label a pedophile. What happened to? Why are you like just giving a special pass to your big daddy Trump?
I tend to agree with that. The reason why I believe that is this: they have attacked Trump so much. Like, they clearly don't want him in power. If Trump was controlled, they would maybe allow him to be in power more than he is. Like, they banned him on Twitter. They banned him from the banks. They're trying to run other candidates.
Who's they? They banned him from Twitter? Yes, the Twitter moderation banned Trump on Twitter after he continued to encourage violence during the January 6th problem. So yeah, that was a violation of TOS. I never understand how they can bring this up and think it's anything other than a total fucking own of Donald Trump. Like, we had a president who couldn't even abide by Twitter TOS. Is that not a little embarrassing to you?
It's against him in the next primary. So they're really fighting tooth and nail to, like, kill this guy, basically. And I think if they weren't trying to do that...
I know you did not just call Sneako a beta, homie. It would beat you in. Yes, this guy is a fucking beta snowflake. He's the biggest little pussy-ass bitch I've seen, and I don't need to be able to physically fight this person for that statement to be correct. Because it's not about who's physically stronger, it's about who has stronger arguments and who actually has stronger mental fortitude built around what they are saying. And this guy does not. He is literally a snowflake and a beta. Cope.
They'd probably be nicer to him.
So do you think voting is a scam or not? Because if voting is a scam, then how did Trump get elected?
I think that there's always cheating in the vote, and I think that they really stepped it up. Because here's the thing: I think that they count the votes, but what happened after? And I don't want to get your YouTube channel banned, but I'll just say this: in 2020, in Grand Theft Auto, in 2020, in Grand Theft Auto,
careful, just try to use keywords and shit like that.
Yes. Okay. Well, the problem is, how can I say it? I'll just say that they kind of changed how they do things in Grand Theft Auto in 2020. They put in place a software update, and it kind of changed how the packets were being sent to online users. And it was subject to glitches and corrupted files. Yeah. And that was the problem.
GTA is a corrupted game.
So they're saying that voting is corrupted and that mail-in voting was corrupted. One, where's your evidence of this? Two, you realize that there are, I think marginally more Republicans use mail-in voting than Democrats. So when you argue against mail-in voting, you are literally hurting your base.
Game.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone donated $5 and asked me to ask you about the Destiny versus Jontron debate.
Yeah, I think Jontron won. Jontron won, and Destiny got BTFO'd, because Jontron is totally red-pilled and based, and,
Is he banned on YouTube?
This just goes to show, again, that to any of these chuckle fucks, if they agreed with the opponent, it does not matter how good the other person's argument is. It does not matter if the person that they side with makes shitty arguments. None of that matters. They will always side with the person that they already agree with, which proves that they are literal fucking snowflakes. This is why I say, take Nick Fuentes, for example, right? He has a very loyal, dedicated audience of rabid virgins who probably reek of daddy issues. And if I were to try to debate Nick, and Nick did nothing but fucking fart and scream into his microphone, every groiper would say, Nick blew him up. Nick BTFO'd Hunter. Hunter's such a bitch. Oh, he got so fucking wrecked. He didn't even know how to handle it. Yeah. It does not matter. It doesn't matter what you say. If they agree with you, then they will side with you regardless of what you say. And it's this dogmatic mob mentality almost. They talk so much about cancel culture, but yet Nick Fuentes is betraying his own allegiance to this mob mentality when he says shit like this. He agrees with Jontron's talking points, and that is why he is saying that Jontron won. The only reason why. Anybody who watched that debate knew for a fucking fact that even if you agreed with Jontron's points, which if you did, I feel sorry for you, but even if you agreed with him, he did not win that debate. Like, holy shit, dude.
Well, I remember watching him back in the day. I haven't heard about him in a while. He's on Cozy now?
No, he's not on Cozy. I think he's still on YouTube.
But he's Red Pill. Why haven't I heard about him, his Red Pill stuff?
I don't know. It's kind of like it's a popular thing in our circles. Like we joke around a lot about that because he did a debate about like race and crime. I talked about the connection between crime and race as opposed to IQ and race. So he's and PewDiePie's a little bit based too, I think.
Would you consider yourself a white supremacist?
No, not at all. I'm Christian, so pretty sure, and I'm Catholic.
So do you think that white people are superior to other races? The next question, of course, is would you consider yourself a white nationalist? I'd love to see how Nick would weasel his way out of that one.
Specifically, so Catholics can't be white supremacists.
Why is that?
But because it's a sin. We all believe that we're equal before God. All people have an equality in terms of that we were created by God. And so
once again, proof that God is not just, because any God that sees me as equal to Nick Fuentes cannot therefore be just. Christianity debunked. Tip fedora. Cope.
We are all equal in the sense that we were created by God. So I'm not a white supremacist, but I think equality is just a myth in the real world. In fact,
what does that even mean? Equality is a myth? Like, do you mean that, like, no two people will ever be equal in the sense that everybody's unique and different in their own person and individual? I mean, if that's what you're talking about, fine. But usually when people are talking about equality, they're talking about equal treatment by both the law and society. But I mean, why don't we just start with applying Nick's logic to himself? You think human equality is a myth? Okay, Nick, fine. You are a subhuman degenerate. Get the fuck out of my face. Also, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. So I don't believe that any of us were actually created equal before God. I think that you are still evolving from a fucking retarded chimp, if I'm being fair. And I think that the rest of us humans have honestly moved past you, my friend. So, yeah, you just keep clinging to your sky daddy. I'll just keep on basing my beliefs on human equality, on wanting humans to be equal.
We got to stop using the word red pill because people on Twitter and like the bots get really confused when you say red pill and they think it's just like a pickup scam. So you can keep saying it, but I'm saying like overall for the message of this, for the good versus evil thing.
Yes, tactical R-slur. I'm sorry. I've been trying to stop saying that. Sometimes it still slips out, especially when I'm talking to people that seem to fit that definition.
Going on. Red pill limits it, and people think that it's just about picking up women and think about like picking up bitches for the most part. But I keep saying this in the stream, like the idea of the red pill in the Matrix was that it's like waking you up to the truth. So when I talk about women and shit like that,
the truth to you is like the JQ and voting being useless, okay? You don't know what truth is. You wouldn't know what truth is if it slapped you on the ass.
It's bigger than just like red pill's not just about picking up girls. It's about the brainwashing that's going on. It's about how most people are asleep.
Yeah, well, the red pill in the Matrix was about the fact that we were in a created world. In the Matrix, the red pill, they took it and they woke up and they realized that what they thought was the world was not really the world, that there was a fake reality being created around them. And what we say red pill.
Whoa, bro, pass the doobie, yo. Sneako, Nick, that's a radical idea, man. Yeah, what if we're on a simulation, bruh?
And so everything that we see is in the same way, like a created reality. So much of our assumptions and beliefs are based on things that we saw on TV and movies. You don't have to think very far to think like most of your assumptions, if you think really deeply about them, came from something you saw on television or in a movie or on TikTok.
I mean, maybe for some people, but speak for yourself, Nicholas. There's also a large proportion of people who value coming to rational conclusions via justified means. And second of all, it's hilarious you're saying this when you just fucking compared your entire ideology to the goddamn Matrix. Like, if anyone's basing shit off of a movie, it's you people. And I mean, you know what? Let's be honest. Some of this, I think, might be based on a movie. Like, I look at them and I instantly think Dumb and Dumber. So, maybe he's kind of right there.
This works this way because of a character in a show, because I saw this in a movie. And those things were made by other people. And so it's almost like when you look in your phone or TV, you're looking into a created world. And so when you say red pill, it's like you realize that there's this giant...
A created world that you're terrified of getting banned from. So that's a little revealing.
Conspiracy to create a fake reality around you to change your fundamental assumptions and your behaviors. And being red pill means realizing that all of the media is a big lie.
Everything we ingest.
Yeah.
Alex Jones just had to pay $4 million to the parents of people of the Sandy Hook victims today.
Okay, cool. So we get a little bit of Alex Jones simping here as well.
I love Alex Jones. He's a friend
I'm a
of
big
mine.
fan. Oh, he's a friend of yours too?
Yeah, yeah.
I've always been a big fan.
Also, let it be known that the side of Alex Jones usually is right-leaning, and those are the people that always talk about taking personal responsibility. Well, now Alex Jones has to take personal responsibility for the bullshit he's done and said. Tough.
Yeah, me too. He's a hero of mine. I used to watch him in high school. He's kind of got me into this in a big way. And the guy's a legend. He's right about everything. You know, whenever he goes on Joe Rogan.
Was he right about the Sandy Hook thing? I think he was wrong about that. I mean, I'm from Connecticut. I remember what happened. Like, I don't think that shit was made up.
You know, I never looked too deeply into that one, but there's a really good documentary about it on BitChute. I forget the name of it, but there's a really good...
He's right about everything. What about this thing? I don't really know, but watch a documentary that's not even on YouTube.
I saw a really good documentary. Yeah, that's how all these stories start about this, and there's definitely some facts in there that I think are questionable. I don't know that it was necessarily all fake, but there was something fishy going on there. So I think he, you know,
Alex Jones on Cozy. Your chat saying Alex Jones is on Cozy TV too.
Yeah, he is on Cozy. He's live every day.
Okay, so even though with my low IQ genetics, I can still stream on Cozy.
Hey, I said you were low IQ. It's about group averages. If you're in a class of people and you know the average grade is like a C, you can still get an A. You still be a good student. Just the the overall
the average is lower. Okay.
Yeah, your dumbass self. You can be on Cozy.
All right, we'll go ahead and just end this here because I cannot handle any more literal ear rape moving forward. Also, Nick, a little degenerate that you've just spent the last hour of your time talking to a shirtless man. You know, just it's not really helping the rumors, pal. That's all. There you go, guys. That is Sneako, the conspiracy theorist incel inbred, talking to Nick Fuentes, a literal fucking mistake brought on Earth from either evolution or from God. Maybe God created Nick as an example that God is in fact not benevolent. That is quite a possibility. I think that's very reasonable to assume. Either way, two chuckle fucks up here spewing some of the most nonsensical bullshit that I've heard in a long time. You can probably tell that I'm heated. That's because I am. Because when I hear like when I just hear regurgitated bullshit over and over and over and over again, it just gets to be really annoying. It's infuriating, really, and I know that people watching also get mad, and it's probably a little satisfying to see me get mad and really tear into these dumb cunts and really rip them a new one, you know? So if Sneako would ever like to debate, I would love to talk. Make it happen, all right? I want to talk to Sneako. Maybe I can hit him up. Can I hit him up on Twitter? I want to talk to him about masculinity. That is what I want to talk to him about. I would be more than happy to do it, and I would be happy to see if Sneako would be interested.